And this is the other Gibson SG. If you saw the black standard uh, that I was working on, yeah, and I mentioned that the horrible Gibson nut because see that sharp angle, so that all your support for the string is right on a tiny spot rather than being spread out over the distance of the nut going back and forth. Um, this one is quite fret buzzy, just on the high string. You hear it between about there and between a third fret and the 17th fret is quite buzzy. It's not horrible, but you know the action. I just listened to Truss Rod there just to see if it would help, but it hasn't. So I don't know if I should maybe consider giving it a fret level, but I'll get the strings off and check if the frets are seated at the end. You know, pause it there because it's went out of focus and all the rest of it because as we just looked at it, looked at the screen. Right. So to test if a fret is seated, you've maybe seen this if you watch any of my videos I've done fretting. As a tap test, you get something like this, or an actual scalpel handle, and you just tap. And you're looking for that right tap right along the fret. So I'm just going to, because it's the high string that's buzzing, I'm just going to check the ends. That just seems all okay, so I don't know if there's maybe dirt getting underneath that's giving me a false reading, but I'd say just checking the other ends because it's always the ends normally. See, they're all okay. So I don't know if it's just the wear patterns that's causing the string to buzz. Can you see it's just about the same amount of wear on each fret all the way along. So it makes me think that it could be dirt on the string actually, because as well as saving your frets, changing your strings off, and also helps prevent little issues like that. So I think, yeah, kind of sharp corners on the nut. Next I'm just going to file down the now. That feels better. Again, there's no teeth on this edge, so it's safe for use on the fingerboard. While I'm at it, I'll check for sharp frettings. Nothing really major. Nah, that's kind of normal, what's expected. I'll get in and do a big clean up, but you can see right at the fret's just a little bit of gunk, which is expected if you play your guitar often. Yeah, so I'll get on with that and then come back and see what's what. Yeah, doing the fret ends, yeah, because, well, they're not sharp, they're not really being rounded over. Probably the fact that the fingerboard hasn't been rolled, but, you know, before I took the strings off it, I was having no strumming. I quite like the fact that it's not, so it's still nice playing. But yeah, these frets not being rounded, you tend to notice it a little bit. I say rounded, like there's just a little bit of a harsh corner somewhere. Like I say, it's not sharp, but it's you run your finger up and you know, you kind of get caught. You kind of notice. See, I don't know. Even talking rubbish, but definitely notice a difference before and after. I know you can't see it. I'm not going to move the camera up all the time and fanny about with it. I'm just going to crack on. Say camera, it's just my phone on a wee tripod. That's that side done. It's a lot better. Yeah, I'll pause for 2 seconds and do the other side, and then it's polishing next. There we go, that's the fret ends done. Just going to polish up the frets. Like I say, this is a lot like that standard. It's just needs a basic setup. Yeah, things like the fret ends and the rolling fingerboard edges, like people would kind of say they're issues when they kind of are, but they're not anything very detrimental. I know a lot of the Juskowitz era Gibsons did have problems, but like they weren't like, I don't know, like I may have picked up one guitar, I thought, no, that's unacceptable, and that was just a misaligned fingerboard on a high performance standard, and you can just feel a lip on like the neck here, between a lip in the neck, and then there's the fingerboard binding on that particular guitar, and that's kind of the only one I'd say that was an actual build issue that I've seen. You know, something like this special that's that Gibson make to a budget is like, you'd get a lot of guitar for the money. I think that's maybe the one thing I don't like about the new owner. It's because he's helped to streamline the Gibson line, and it's now trickled down to the Epiphone line, because personally I'm an Epiphone fanboy. Quite happily admit that. And you know, you look at like through the years and the archives of things that Epiphone have put out, it's a lot of really cool stuff, like things you wouldn't expect. And it's kind of, you know, now it is like the Inspired by Gibson line is just what Gibson has at a lower price point, which I think is less fun. Don't get me wrong, good guitars and all that, but just less fun overall. I know I'm rambling, but what else do you do to fill the silence of polishing frets? Onto the small guard now, because I'm at the 18th fret. Actually, I'll double check that. Where did that not fit? I think I'm on the 19th, but I'll polish the 18th again just in case. Yeah, like I say, the only kind of real issue with the this era of Gibson is that severe nut shape. Because one of my mates, guitarist in my band Sneaky Russians, he's a Gibson man, and he bought a 61 reissue with the sideways vibrolith. There's like a 2000 and I want to say 2016, and it's got the same nut, and you can, when you're tuning it up and that, you can feel it like it pings and all that and does the kind of things you don't want it to do. That's one thing I would change on this era of Gibson. Well, depending on this ownership of Gibson and depending on the model, etc. Because that was a 61. This is a special. And you saw the standard, which I believe is the same as this, a 2005. I think both of them. I'm not entirely sure. And that one had a good nut on it. Because I think, I don't know if they were using the Plek this early on, but I'm sure that's the kind of nut that the Plek machine makes. Yeah, depending on how it's programmed, I'm quite against the Plek machine. I mean, not for because it's like doing a job that a skilled person could do, but more because, when you don't do it right, it does do things like that with nuts, because I'm sure it does shape the nut and cut the nut slots. So that's the only kind of reason I'm against it. I think now they've got a program to make nuts a lot better, and I think Thomann in Germany has theirs programmed the same way to make to make nuts correctly. Because ideally you want you do need enough full support. But see where my thumb is? That's how much should be under the string, and you can see for the low E, it's half that. And it's worse up here. Again, it's about half again. I'd want support right up to there, and then that way you don't have this angle, and then you can take more height off the nut and actually have it for the low strings coming up halfway and about halfway for the high strings as well. But anyway, focus. Yeah, this board's oil. I'm just gonna rub it in, and I'm working on this at the same time I'm working on that black SG, so I'm going to start filming that again because that's ready for the next part of the process. And I've had my wee rant about Gibson and Epiphone and things that are actually issues and things that are not issues. Yeah, where's that oil rig? There it is. This is the only one I keep, only one I use for oil, for fingerboard oil. And again, I'll just rub that in evenly and let it lift the dirt out, because that's what the oil does. It does bring dirt to the surface that you can then clean off later. So that's good to be left for, I don't know, a few minutes, half an hour, whenever I get back round to it, as long as I don't let it dry completely. Right, that's all got to say for now. Next time you see this, I'll probably have strings on it. Didn't really expect to be doing any wiring work on this, but when I got the strings on it, and when I tune guitars up and do the intonation, always go to the night pickup and roll the tone off, because that gives you the note getting obviously picked up closest to the 12th fret as possible, and with the tone off you get the most fundamental note, so it's, to me, it's more accurate. Some people might disagree, but anyway, switched on the night pickup, there's no output. Open up the back plate, I'm getting close, that's what I'm dealing with. I took this wire once and it instantly comes off the pot, and that's your main signal wire there. So I'm just going to tidy this up. Shouldn't take too long. Oh, that was almost a disaster. Where's my sucker? There it is. Right, so get that off first. Well, it's like duct tape or something similar has been used to tape these wires off. We'll get all that tape off, because it's, honestly, you don't want to be using tape if you can help it. Oh god. All the glue residues getting all over my hands. Not the cleanest bit of paper towel in the world, but lighter fluid and Goo Gone and things like that just takes glue residue off of things. So this way I can put it. Right, so just clip that off and double check the soldering on that. You do that one. I'm just using some shrink sleeve because it's the best thing since sliced bread. Cool, that gets the red and white wires out the way. Let's heat this up with the iron, the shaft of the iron, because there's enough heat to make it shrink, and then you're not getting plastic on your tip. I've seen a lot of people use open flames and things like that, but I don't really want, well, I say open flames are lighter, and I don't want open flames kicking around. Yeah, I'll get a thin piece on that. Hope this fits. Yeah. It's to keep the bare earth from touching anything, just in case. There you go. Right, can get these out of the way. I'm only going to film the one pickup, being the neck one. I'm getting nice and close. Where's the signal wire? There we go. Because I'm going to do the bridge pickup as well, just in case, so it's got a solid connection. There's that right there. So I put this bit of leather down, although I should have it closer to the edge. Right. If I can get this lug tidied up, it's going to make it a lot neater. Ah, come on. Come on. There we go. That's why. See, that's the kind of leg of the capacitor you're dealing with. Well, I'm not happy about that. That will be a good point to solder to. I'm saying that blob right there on the back of the pot. So I'm going to shorten this capacitor lead there. Get it through, signal wire through. There we go. Give that a sec to cool off, and there you go. A much better connection and a tidier wire. So that should be putting signal through now, and like I say, look at the bridge one. I'm just going to do that too. I'm not going to charge the guy for this because it's kind of unexpected wee thing. I know it's 8 minutes of filming, but you know, it's just tidying up. That's all. Don't mind spending a few extra minutes to tidy up things just to make sure everything's good. Right. Right, so that's me finished up with this SG. Yeah, after messing with the pot, after tidying up the pot, it still wouldn't work. But I was touching it and the signal would come through intermittently. And I think the good thing about pots, especially CTS ones, is where the lug clamps onto the wafer. You can if that starts losing signal, you can move it around to see if it works, and then use like pliers or something just to squeeze it so that it's actually making positive contact with the track on the wafer. So yeah, now I've got good output from the neck pickup and all that, so it's ideal. Sprayed contact cleaner, but the pots are still a bit. Don't know if you can hear that. Pots are still a bit scratchy, so they might need to be replaced in the next couple of years, depending how much the owner uses the tone controls. Next one's the same. Volumes are fine, they're not scratchy at all. But anyway, here's your setup with the action. Got 2.5mm on the bass side, 1.5mm on the treble side. Hold the strings down, got 1.5mm for the pickup height. And I don't know what these pickups are, but I've set it like quite a bassy and a bit more gain than I normally use in this little Marshall, and it's very Black Sabbathing to my ears. You know? a bit more volume of that. I actually really enjoy these old specials because I don't know. Yeah, that's all I've really got to say about this thing. Something about these SGs in particular, they just remind me of Iomi's old boy. But I think it's just because it's the brown and it's. Because it's brown as you can see the grain and all that stuff. But yeah, this thing's bloody awesome. I'm actually sad to see it go. I really like something about SG specials that I really like. Anyway, that's it for this one. I'm just going to straight away go and record the outro section, like the demo of the black SG standard. So I'll be wearing the exact same clothes and all that. So enjoy.